Hello, great people. The Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan versus Nigerian Senate and Gospel Akpabio issue of sexual harassment, misconduct, and eventual suspension has led to the unearthing of startling revelation. This time of no other person than Senator Neda Bernards Imasuen, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privilege. People investigated the background of the man, and it was discovered that he was a fraudster in the United States before fleeing to Nigeria to become a politician. On this episode, I'll be telling you all you need to know about Senator Bernard's alleged fraud practices in the United States. Who is Senator Bernards Imasuen? What did he commit in the United States? How was he able to commit those offenses of about over 25 million US dollars? How was he able to maneuver his way out of the United States? I'll be telling you everything that you need to know on this episode of Politing with Dr. Omosholadeji. If you are yet to subscribe, of course do well to subscribe to this channel. And I must tell you that this is not the video you fast forward. This is the video that you must watch from the beginning of the end to get the details of it, because I'll be reading some things for you here and I'll be taking you deep into the personality of Senator Neda Bernards Imasuen. You will recall that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan had an issue with the Nigerian Senate and she was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privilege for misconduct, and the chairman of that committee is Senator Neda Bernards Imasuen. And the committee, within a space of 24 hours, carried out investigation, wrote the report and submitted it to the National Assembly, and within a night twinkle, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended for 6 months to the outcry of the public and also legal luminary. Now, that chairman is what we want to talk about. The chairman of that committee that sat on the case of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. First, Senator Neda Imasuen is from Edo South. He is one of the senators representing Edo State. He rose to power under the political influence, the political tsunami of Peter Obi. You will recall that during the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi gained unprecedented support from the populace, and his election was conducted on the day that the Senate election was also conducted. So Senator Neda Imasuen rode on that popularity to become a senator. Now, U.S. court filings, the filings of court in the United States revealed that Senator Neda Imasuen is being wanted for two things. Number one, he defrauded a client in the United States allegedly when he was there. And number two, he was involved in a bank fraud, a kind of like loan fraud that is amounting to about 25 million US dollars. So you may want to ask yourself, how did somebody that is allegedly that unethical, leading the Senate Ethics Committee, the highest lawmaking body in Nigeria, the Nigerian Senate, he is the one leading the Senate Ethics Committee in charge of disciplinating erring members. Now let's dive further into the personality of Senator Neda Imasuen. Senator Neda is a lawyer in the United States, or should I say was a lawyer in the United States. But the problem with it is that he is reportedly not one of those, true lawyers. He is one of those fraudulent lawyers that, they kind of like use fraudulent means and sharp practices to make sure that they enrich themselves to the maximum. And it was reported, according to investigation, that Senator Neda Imasuen, defrauded a client, that he received money from a client in the United States, precisely New York at that time, but he failed to represent that client in court. And that client, out of frustration, reported him to the New York Legal Association. Now, they now set up a panel to probe Neda Imasuen that, okay, come and say your own side of the story. But Imasuen never attended any of the briefing. He never even kind of like show any respect or regard to that particular panel that was set up to investigate him. And for that reason, it was disbarred for life. Not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not for 10 years. It was disbarred for life in the United States, particularly New York City. So Neda is a lawyer, but when all these things were happening, is either Neda has found his way back to Nigeria, or it was after he was disbarred that he found his way back to Nigeria. But while they were looking for him and they didn't see him, they now discovered that Neda was also involved in $25 million mortgage loans. Now, let me tell you how they were able to commit that mortgage loans in the United States at that point in time. You see, some people that are of good rating, that they have good personality and good records, they will go and meet them. They will give them a story that touch that they want them to obtain loan on their behalf. Let me be more practical now. Let's say I have a good rating in the United States and you need a loan. You will now come and meet me that, okay, Deji, please, I need money for something. Is it possible that you can help me obtain a loan? Since you have a good credit, then I will be paying the loan. I will be paying the money back to you. You will be paying the government. And also, there will be some benefit for you that, okay, every month, this is the amount that I'll be paying you. You'll be paying this to the government, and there's a little stipend on it for you as well. So if you are the greedy type, you would think that, well, is it not just to obtain the loan and give it to this person, and this person will be repaying the loan? Don't forget that as at year early 2000 to 2010, the level of trust, hasn't depreciated up to the way it is now. So when they get that money, they may be paying the money back bit by bit for like 6 months. You would have relaxed, you would have gotten used to it, and all of a sudden they may just disappear. So when Neda got those funds, he allegedly fled the United States before the katakata go bust, to use street parlance. He escaped to Nigeria reportedly in 2010. So it was after he escaped to Nigeria that the US government was now looking for him. So there were 2 people, but they were able to apprehend one and they sentenced that one to prison. Now, let me read something for you. I promise to read something for you so that you can know the depth of the corruption allegation against Senator Neda Imasuen, the chairman of Nigerian Senate Committee on Ethics and Privilege. Let me read this to you so that you know what he has done and how his accomplice was sentenced in the United States. Now, I read, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, said Mr. Imasuen was the lawyer who arranged, in quote, the transactions underlying the substantive bank fraud charges in the indictment. According to a review of a case involving Mr. Imasuen's co-conspirator, Imran Ismail Badola, the amount of fraudulent mortgage loans by Senator, I think I should be using Senator so that you can kind of like understand. You don't mix the personality together. So I'll just use Senator, but it's not Senator that was put in the context. It was Mr. Imasuen, but I'll use Senator so that you can kind of like easily identify the personality. The amount of fraudulent mortgage loans by Senator Imasuen and his co-conspirators exceeded $25 million, according to a federal grand jury indictment that came down on December 14th, 2012. So he fled the United States in 2010, but judgment was given in 2012. Prosecutors said that Senator Imasuen and Badola's scheme targeted no fewer than 33 banks. Imagine your senator in Nigeria involved in a fraud that involved no fewer than 33 banks, including ABN AMRO, Citi Bank, HSBC, Wells Fargo, and Lehman Brothers. The fraud involved using straw buyers with good credit scores to secure loans after being financially induced. I said it earlier. Again, I read that. The fraud involved using straw buyers with good credit scores to secure loans after being financially induced, an act that violated federal law and intended to defraud the financial institutions that issued the loans. Judge Kiyo Matsumoto of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York in Brooklyn identified Senator Imasuen as an indicted co-conspirator. Now, this is according to the U.S. record, and unindicted co-conspirator who executed allegedly fraudulent transactions which lasted between 2008 and 2009. Judge Matsumoto sentenced Mr. Badola, the accomplice, on January 25, 2017 to 30 months in prison and placed him on probation for 5 years upon release. He was also ordered to pay restitution to the banks. That was that's a synopsis, a summary of what happened as regards the fraud cases of Senator Bernards Imasuen. And at the end of the day, he fled to Nigeria after being disbarred for life in the United States. After being wanted for $25 million mortgage loans, he escaped to Nigeria in 2010. Now, let us dive into some deep analysis on this case, which is that how was he able to practice law in Nigeria? In the sense that, is it that the Nigerian Bar Association or the Association for Lawyers, is it that they have no scrutiny in such a way that when you are just coming from the United States or any other country in the world, they won't investigate your personality, they won't check your background, they won't look into your records, your degree and where you are coming from, you'll just be able to practice law? Because how was he able to practice law? Another thing is that Senator Neda Bernards Imasuen has also been within the government circle. It's just that he has not been able to secure the ticket, and he has always been involved in government contract. He knows powerful people in government. So you want to ask yourself that the government people that are dealing with him, is it that there's no agency of government, there is nobody that will scrutinize those that deal with government, those that are executing contract for the government, those are within the corridors of power, to make sure that they are people of high integrity? And that is where the DSS comes in. How was he able to contest election in the first place? The DSS is a secret police. What happened to the screening by the DSS? Or is the DSS not able to look into his background in the United States that he has lived for so many years before coming to Nigeria? Did the DSS not write the US authorities requesting investigation about his life and living in the United States? So that this revelation is an indictment on Nigeria's secret police, the DSS. But how will the DSS be able to perform when what politicians use them for is their selfish and personal interest? So when the DSS is overwhelmed, how will they be able to look into the personality of all these candidates that are contesting for election? You see, if we are not careful, Nigeria will be finished than we expected. Nigeria will be finished than we earlier expected, because if these are the people that we have in government, then we really have a cause to cry as a country. Because if you look at the Nigerian leadership, so many people of questionable characters, so many people that startling revelations, or only ones for that matter, have emerged against them when they found their way into public office, are many in the Nigerian government cycle. And I'll give you just 3 examples as we wrap up. Number 1 is Femi Gbajabiamila. You will recall that Femi Gbajabiamila, when he wanted to become the Speaker of the House of Representatives, but now is the current Chief of Staff to the President, documents emerged that Femi was involved in different fraud and sharp practices in the United States. Another person is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, who, according to records, that there's this drug issue, certificate issue against him. Today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria. Another person is Governor Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State, whereby there were reports against him that he engaged in sharp practices abroad while he was in the diaspora. So for how long will we continue to do this as a country? We need to sit tight if we truly want the growth and development that Nigeria truly deserves. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politics with Dr. Omoshola Deji. Dr. Deji is a political scientist with a PhD in political science. Do want to subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos, and of course I have great interesting videos coming your way. Till I see you again, always remember that I love you all sincerely.